Tokugawa Ieyasu. Let me tell you the events leading up to this battle at Noda Castle. You should understand how our relationship has evolved. Shingen, let us heed your words. Let us hear your true intentions as to why you attacked Noda Castle. First, the Takeda family was trying to expand into the Tokai region. Ieyasu, Mikawa, which you control, was a strategic point. The plan to attack Okazaki Castle was to gain a foothold in Mikawa. As I understand it, the capture of Okazaki Castle was part of your ambitions. But why did you choose Noda Castle? Noda Castle was in a strategically important position. In order to break through your line of defense and penetrate deep into Mikawa, it was necessary to take control of this castle. What tactics were used in the attack? Our army used pressure from multiple directions. We adopted a strategy of bringing our guns to the front and exhausting your army with coordinated attacks. Indeed, we suffered from that tactic. But, Shingen, I hear that your physical condition was greatly affected during this battle. It was true that my body had deteriorated to the point where I was no longer able to run on the battlefield. But my generals were skilled, and I left much to them. Well, with Shingen unable to command directly, he still managed to win the battle. Ieyasu, your castle was well defended, but in the end it could not withstand the onslaught of our forces and Noda Castle fell. That victory gave our army great confidence. Indeed, that defeat was a great blow to me. But the peace that followed gave me temporary stability. Peace was a strategic choice. However, in my mind, preparations were always underway for the next battle. Shingen, after your death, the power of the Takeda family declined rapidly. In anticipation of my death, I was diligent in preparing and guiding my successors. But fate is sometimes cruel. I see, and yet your policies and tactics had a tremendous impact on future generations. I, too, was able to apply the lessons learned and rebuild. Ieyasu, you learned a lot from that defeat and later became a great warrior. That is the best proof of all. Shingen, you have indeed been a great shadow in my life. I have learned countless lessons from my battles with you. Warfare is not just a clash of forces. The skill of information warfare and strategy also determines victory or defeat. The Battle of Noda Castle is one such example. That's right, there is always a deep thought behind the battle. Shingen, there is always much to learn in dialogue with you. Ieyasu, it is our duty as military commanders to continue to reflect on past battles and apply them to the future. I am sure you have learned many lessons through the Battle of Noda Castle. Yes, Shingen, the battle with you was a turning point for me. I will not forget that and will continue to devote myself to it. Shingen, the Battle of Noda Castle was a battle for the survival of our Mikawa province. To begin with, this conflict began with the decline of the Imagawa clan. Why do you see the decline of the Imagawa clan as leading to our conflict? When the Imagawa clan declined, the balance of power in the Tokai region under its control was upset. Our Tokugawa family had the opportunity to gain independence and expand its power, which intersected with your ambitions. Certainly, the Mikawa region was an inevitable place for the Takeda family to make inroads into the Tokai region. But why did they need to go that far to attack Noda Castle? Noda Castle is a strategic point in Mikawa province, and if we can hold it, we will be able to bring the Tokaido Highway under our control. Is that not your true objective? That's right, but why did you go to such lengths to resist? It must have been a big risk for you, too. Mikawa is my family's base of operations. If we lost it, Ieyasu's political base would collapse. We could not allow that to happen. Was that why your resistance was so fierce? But we were confident of our military pressure. In particular, I believe that our new tactics with the artillery was effective. But how did you see it? The use of the artillery was certainly effective. It caused our army a great deal of suffering. But still we persevered in the end. Do you understand what that means? You are right. The fact that we endured shows the depth of your military training and loyalty. But it did not stop us from our ambitions. Indeed, we were overwhelmed by you for a time, but that experience has made us stronger. We learned a lot from our battles with you, and the lessons we learned will live on in our future politics. Learning and growing, is that the true benefit of warfare? But your goal must not have been mere survival. What did you gain by defending Noda Castle? By defending Noda Castle, our Tokugawa family gained trust. We also gained the trust of the surrounding feudal lords, which led to our later cooperation. Trust and collaboration. Those are certainly valuable things. But what you ultimately wanted is beyond my comprehension. My desire is a stable reign and peace for my people. To protect that, sometimes war is unavoidable. The battle with you was part of that. Peace among peoples is a noble goal. But wasn't it also your own ambition that made war inevitable? Ambition is something that every warlord has. But how to control it and how to give it back to the people is important. My actions are always based on that balance. I see, so you were always looking at the big picture. But in looking at the big picture, how did you view enemies like us? There are many people I respect, even if they are my enemies. You are one of them. You can improve yourself through your enemies. This will lead to your growth as a military commander. Your words show respect for your enemies and the lessons you have learned in battle. That's what makes you successful in politics. You are exactly right, Shingen. We had our conflicts, but we gave each other the opportunity to learn and grow. Isn't that the most valuable thing of all? Ieyasu, in reviewing the Battle of Noda Castle, it is important to consider the effectiveness of our strategies and tactics. But don't you think that the battle brought more than a temporary victory for the Takeda family? Indeed, Shingen, that battle was a great lesson for our Tokugawa family. Although his territory shrank for a time, his experience was used in his later political strategies. As a result of the battle, our Takeda family succeeded in temporarily holding Mikawa. But it is also true that this was not our ultimate goal. Yes, your goal was further territorial expansion and eventual unification of the country. But that dream was interrupted by your sudden death. That is correct. After my death, the Takeda family rapidly lost power, and its influence was not limited to Kai but also affected the national power structure. The rapid decline of the Takeda family became a cause for alarm for other feudal lords. In part, this accelerated the movement toward the end of the Warring States period throughout Japan. The artillery tactics we used in battle had a profound impact on the way we fought in the subsequent Warring States period. Indeed, your use of gunboats was innovative. That tactic was later adopted by many feudal lords, including our own Tokugawa family. We also learned a lot in terms of intelligence gathering through this battle. The importance of espionage was also cleared up in terms of tactics. The importance of information warfare was also greatly applied to the subsequent political strategy of our Ieyasu. He learned Shingen's methods and refined them further. The battle was not just a clash of forces. It was also a battle that taught me how important psychological warfare and information warfare are. That's right. In terms of psychological warfare, your attack on Noda Castle had the effect of solidifying the unity within my Ieyasu's vassal circle. Your defensive tactics demonstrated at the Battle of Noda Castle would have influenced the design of subsequent castles. Indeed, its defensive tactics were referenced in later castle construction. In particular, the use of stone walls and the strengthening of multi-layered structures were advanced. As a result of the battle, our Takeda family strengthened its rule in the Tokai region for a short period of time. This brought about a change, albeit temporary, in the political structure of the region. The changes in the political structure of the region consequently prompted many regional feudal lords to make new moves. What this battle has shown is the importance of alliances between feudal lords. Peace with you is part of that. The importance of the alliance became an important factor in the peace and reconstruction that followed. The peace with Shingen provided important, albeit temporary, stability. Through this battle, the Takeda and Tokugawa families learned and grew a lot from each other. I think that is the greatest achievement of all. That's right, we grew and strengthened each other. That may be the most important legacy of this battle. Ieyasu, I am proud of the victory of our army in the Battle of Noda Castle. However, I sometimes wonder how that victory affected the ultimate fate of our Takeda family. Shingen, your victory was indeed brilliant. But then you died suddenly, and the Takeda clan fell into rapid decline. How do you think that fact changes the meaning of your victory? Indeed, the decline of the Takeda family after my death is undeniable. How much better it would have been if our victory in this battle had brought long-term stability. I understand that feeling. My defeat in this battle also had a profound impact on my subsequent actions. I learned from my defeat and worked hard to build a stronger political base. Ieyasu, your resilience is admirable. But for me, this victory was not just strategic, it was also personal proof against Ieyasu. Shingen, what do you mean by this personal proof? Ieyasu, there was a time when you and I were allies. But your behavior changed and you came to stand as my enemy. I felt betrayed by your transformation. My change of position, Shingen, is due to the political situation of the time. But I did not betray you. If you still feel that way, that is an inescapable fact. Because I felt that betrayal, my victory at Noda Castle was my way of showing my power over you. However, I have mixed feelings when I realized that it did not save the future of the Takeda family. Shingen, I understand your sentiment. But war always determines the future. Just as your death changed the fate of the Takeda family, my defeat changed mine. Ieyasu, you recovered from that defeat and later went on to establish the shogunate. What did you feel in the process? He realized the importance of learning from defeat. It was the path that led to my later success. The lessons I learned from my battle with you are immeasurable. Ieyasu, I can see growth in your words. But what do you think about the possibility that my victory hastened the decline for the Takeda family? It may be a lesson of history, that victory in war does not necessarily bring prosperity to a nation. Shingen, how your strategic successes affected the fate of your house is something left to the passage of time. Although left to the passage of time, there is a huge gap between the sense of accomplishment I felt in the battle with you, Ieyasu, and the subsequent decline of the house. Shingen, personal feelings in battle often do not coincide with the fate of the nation. We must do our best in the midst of it. I take your words deeply to heart. I have learned and felt much from my dialogue with you, Ieyasu. Shingen, likewise, dialogue with you is always new and thought-provoking. By reflecting on each other's past, we will find lessons to apply to the future. Ieyasu, much has been said about how the Battle of Noda Castle affected us all, but we would like to examine the battle from the perspective of how it affected our society, economy, and culture. Certainly, Shingen, the direct consequences of the war are often discussed, but it is worth looking more closely at how it affected the broader social structure. Let us begin by considering the impact of this battle on the economy of the Mikawa region. The invasion of our forces temporarily paralyzed economic activity in the area. As it was, the interruption of agricultural work and the stagnation of commerce dealt a direct blow to the people's livelihood. However, it also led to the importance of economic policies during Reconstruction. After the fighting was over, the Reconstruction process provided a major opportunity to rebuild the economic base of the region. In particular, new commercial routes were developed and agricultural land was redeveloped. Such economic reconstruction was very effective as a peacetime policy. In addition, the guns used by the Takeda forces through this battle influenced subsequent gun manufacturing in Mikawa. Indeed, the use of guns brought about significant changes to local communities not only in tactical but also in technical aspects. As the art of gun manufacturing took root in the region, the potential for a new industry was discovered. Turning to cultural influences, one cannot overlook how the battle affected the arts of kabuki and ukiyo-e. War tragedies and heroic tales were often the subject of works of art, which created new cultural values among the populace. In particular, the heroic figures of warriors have influenced many works of art. The retelling of the memory of war through art has important implications for society. It is part of reflecting on the events of the past and drawing lessons for the future. In terms of social structure, one cannot overlook how this battle affected the relationship between the samurai and the peasants. The devastation of the land caused by the war placed a heavy burden on the peasants. However, it also made the warriors more aware of their duty to protect the land, and it became an opportunity for new bonds to be formed between the warriors and the farmers. As a result, the structure of governance in local communities changed, accelerating the transition to a centralized system. The battle also influenced later policies to maintain public security in the Edo period. The experience of the battle led to the search for more efficient ways to manage public security. Indeed, the maintenance of security became an essential element in the political stability that followed. The lessons learned through this battle are reflected in the policy. Thus, the Battle of Noda Castle had a multifaceted impact. It is important to reevaluate its significance from each of these perspectives in order to deepen our understanding of history. You are absolutely right. History is not merely a record of the past, but also contains profound lessons for those of us living in the present. There is still much to learn from this battle. Understanding not only the physical aspects of warfare, but also its social, economic, and cultural impact is the key to true historical understanding. That is the way we should know our way into the future. Ieyasu, after long years of conflict and battles, I am grateful that we can talk like this now. Shingen, it is true that we have fought many battles and much blood has been shed. But now is the time to look back on it all and tell the truth. It is a fact of history that our army was victorious in the Battle of Noda Castle. However, I sometimes wonder now whether that victory was really worth it for my family. I also understand now how much of a turning point that defeat in that battle later became for our Tokugawa family. Ieyasu, since that defeat of yours ultimately led to the revival of the Tokugawa family, the meaning of the battle may sometimes become clear later. Shingen, the battle with you taught me a lot. In particular, I realized the art of seizing people's hearts and the importance of building up their trust. After my victory at Noda Castle, I felt that my dream of a heavenly war had come closer to reality. But that dream disappeared with my life. Was this fate? Shingen, your death was a great blow to the Takeda family. However, it can also be said that without it, my family would be where it is today. I take your words very seriously. Ieyasu, I believe that our relationship with you was based on respect and understanding, even though we were enemies at times. Shingen, I have learned much from you as a general and a leader. Those lessons live on in the Tokugawa family today. Ieyasu, those words of yours resonate deeply with me. Our warfare was not just a struggle, but also a place of growth. Indeed it was. It was a necessary test for both sides and a stone to build another era. Ieyasu, now that I think about it, I realize again how important our battle was in the history of Japan. Shingen, there is always something new to discover from our conversations with you. It will be interesting to see how our actions, which have left their mark on history, will be evaluated by future generations. Ieyasu, with the end of our era, a new era begins. I hope our dialogue will serve as a bridge. You are right, Shingen. Looking back at the past is a light that illuminates the future. I hope our experience will serve as a lesson to the next generation. Ieyasu, through this long dialogue, many truths have been revealed. I am pleased that our mutual understanding has deepened further. Shingen, I am no different. Dialogue with you has always been a place of new discovery and self-reflection. I would like to take this opportunity to thank all those who have taken an interest in history and listened to our story. I agree, Shingen. Dear readers, I hope you will keep our past alive in the present and into the future. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching. How was it? This video is automatically generated by AI. I'm not quite there yet, but if you'd like to subscribe to my channel, I'd love to hear from you.
Thank you for watching. What did you think? This video was automatically generated by AI. We still have many areas to improve, but if you don't mind, we would be grateful if you could subscribe to our channel.